Welcome to the special edition of Behind the Mic. And I say a special edition because I have one of my fellow friends, a close friend. Oh my God, this guy is like so unbelievable. And I want to thank him, first of all, for letting me be in his house. And you can see in the background how much stuff he got. Mr. Javier Lewis is in the house. How are you doing? Oh, I'm in your house.
Welcome to my home.
Thank you. Thank you for opening up to us and opening up to the fans to get to know you and see how you've been all your life. And this is incredible, first of all, to be in your house.
Thank you.
We just seen your concert. We just seen how great you've been. You won many awards. You won the LDM Independent Awards last year. So we're going to be talking about all those things. So,
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you guys ready? I hope so, because it's going to be a journey from the past, future, and present. So,
exactly.
Let's go. First of all, these things behind us.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about how many of these journeys, I see mega. I see this young Javier going on over here. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about many things over here. But so far, let's talk about the present before we go back to the past.
Okay.
That way we can understand where you came from by knowing your present.
Right.
Where did you find so much energy, first of all, to be what you do now? Like, the stuff you do, you got so much energy and you continue doing it and doing it. How do you find it and where do you find that?
I think better word for energy is passion. That's what it is. I don't have much energy. What drives me is my passion.
I like that.
And music has always driven me since Lord knows when. And I think that's what keeps me going. The passion to record, the passion to write, the passion to release a new song, the passion to want to search for other venues, the passion to reach out and tell the people that what my next steps are. So I think as time goes on, people might say energy, but it's all about the passion, and I think that's what's maintained me in music in a very challenging industry.
Very challenging,
Yeah.
Especially with the Latin music. Do you feel like sometimes the Latin community doesn't really support too much, and that's what makes it harder for Latin independent artists?
I don't know if they don't support. I think it's all about promotion. It's all about getting yourself out there for the Latin community in order to recognize you and support you. It's harder for independent artists because we're up against artists who were signed by labels, who had money backing them up,
right,
who've been around for years.
And no talent. Hey, I have to say that. We just here commentating.
I'm not saying it.
You know, people thinking it because your talent is unbelievable.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you.
I love every song you did, especially Por Amor.
Yes.
My wife pretty much learned Spanish because of that song.
Okay,
you know,
great.
so she knows the whole song.
That's awesome.
So you know, to tell you that a Filipino can grab your song and learn Spanish from it, it says a lot. It says a lot.
Thank you.
You know, she loves it. I think the whole world is like that song made an impact, I think, in many people's lives.
I think it's one of my signature songs. Por Amor is, as many know, many may not know, is a song that was written and by Rafael Solano from the Dominican Republic, and it was released in 1968 by the first recording artist to record that song, Nini Caparo. And I always remember that song as a kid. And many others have recorded, many famous artists have recorded that song. John Cicala, Gloria Estefan, Vicky Carr, and before I recorded that song, I did research because I wanted to make sure that nobody did it in salsa. Not knowing how it would come out in salsa, but then again, I work with a producer who makes everything possible. And so when that song hit, it was like it was already, how would I put it? I released the song, but people already had a grasp on the song to my version, because it's a classic and it's worldwide, and you know, it had a different arrangement, different swing, but people already knew the song, so it was easily adaptable to the public.
Right.
And with my name attached to it, it made it even more
Made it better. Because it was a good song. Like when I first heard it, I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, wait a minute, did I hear this song before? But the way it came out, it seemed like it was a new song.
Right.
So I'm thinking that's the reason why people just like grabbed on it,
Right.
because to them it's a new song.
Right.
Because my wife said the same thing. She was like, and then when she realized it, she was like, wait a minute, wasn't this song out? And I said, yeah, it was out before, but the way he made it, it's
that's
like
what I
a
love
brand new
about
one.
the song, about remaking songs, is that I like to make it my own. You know, people recognize it, people remember the way it was, and people will still continue to love it, but they also hold on and accept the new arrangement behind it.
Wow.
You know, and I always like to not copy, but make it Javier Luis's arrangement.
You did it. You did it because it was great. Obviously, you won the award for the first Independent Music Awards.
I sure did.
And
it's right here.
Yeah. And that was amazing itself, just to be the first Latin award, because down the line there's going to be a lot of other Latin of the year, but you did the first one.
Yeah,
and
I'm very humbled by that. Thank you.
I was happy.
Yeah.
I was like,
thank you to the fans. Thank you to the listeners.
Yes.
Who
Oh my God.
voted, because it was just according to public voting, and
yeah, and that one, I think it was over 11,000 votes total.
Wow.
For every, you know, all the categories, total amount. And when I seen because I didn't know who was winning until I went to get the plaques.
Right.
And then I'm looking through the plaques, and Rhea was like, "What are you doing cheating?" I'm like, wait, I want to see who won the Latin." And I looked, I was like, "Oh yes."
Yeah.
You know, so that made me happy, because that was one of my favorite ones out of all the bunch. We had a couple other good ones, but that one really touched, and I was glad, you know, that you won it.
Yeah.
But then what, you know, now we're going towards the future and stuff. So, you know, are we going to hear some more good songs like this?
Yeah. There's a lot that I want to do. I've been working with my manager, producer, Larry Abransky, for the last 3 years, which is why we've been moving up. We had 4 very successful runs at Sounds of Brazil, SOBs, down on Varick, famous club. Then from there, we moved on to the Merkin Concert Hall, which was amazing in itself. My first theatrical concert and the first artist to have brought salsa to the Merkin Concert Hall. And it was an excellent and different experience. But now we're looking to move up. What exactly, I'm not sure. I'm keeping myself open to the possibilities, because everything's possible. But you know, it's in the makings and under wraps. Can't say too much.
Yeah, but when you get on those concerts, because I know myself, sometimes when I get on the stage, I normally put my hand in my pocket and I have like a little pin so I can talk to the people. Is there a little gadget or trick that you do not to be so much into your fans and get nervous?
You know what? I pray, and I ask for my guardian angels to always be with me before getting up on stage. And then once I pray, then it's just all adrenaline, and it's a lot of anxiety. But the moment I step foot on that stage, the very first step, something happens. It all disappears. And it's like, for example, a tiger or a lion that's been kept in a cage, and all of a sudden you take that cage
Right.
to the jungle and then open the doors and just release that lion.
And he's
That's what happens. I
Oh
mean,
my
it's
God.
just a world that excites me, and it's very therapeutic for me, and I just like to feed off the energy of the people.
Yeah,
You
my
know, and
God.
that's what makes me move around the way I do, because the American Concert Hall, I just recently saw the video that was taken, and I was like, it was like I was eating batteries. I was just constantly back and forth.
Hey, but it's good, you know, energy. When we come right back, we're going to be talking a little bit more, and then we're going to get into depth with Javier and find out about his childhood and everything else. Just stay tuned and keep on watching. We'll be right back.
Hello there. My name is Julio Carrero. I live in Brooklyn, Williamsburg, and I know Javier Luis for over 17 years. And when I first heard Javier sing, I believe it was in my house. It was in time for the holidays. He was in the living room and I was in the last bedroom. And I heard a voice, someone singing, and I thought it was the radio. And I was like, Javier, who's that singing? And he said it was me. I was like, really, that was you? I had no idea his potential, the volume of his voice that brought my attention. So congratulations, Javier. You made us all proud. And you move people, and that's what audience look for. Amazing artists, and that's what you are, an amazing artist.
I'm Larry, and I've been friends with Javier for well over 10 years, but we never really worked together. A dream, and it's so huge, and that I'm so proud that I was able to be part of helping create that as a gift to my friend.
Hello and welcome back to Behind the Mic with Javier Luis, and we're just going to continue talking out here. We're just having a good conversation, so enjoy it and get to know my man here, Javier Luis. So, you know, we were talking about all the energy you have, and I went to the SOB one, had a lot of energy there, but then when I seen you in the concert, I was like, wait, this is the same guy? You had a total energy in that. And the whole room felt it.
Yeah.
Like everyone was dancing and having fun and stuff. But I don't know. For me to be on the stage like that and with son, that's nervous.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And you know, I worked double because it was a theater. It wasn't a club. And I'm used to this club circuit in New York City. That's what I know. And so when you perform in a club, people are on their feet, dancing, giving off a different type of energy as opposed to the theater.
Right.
The theater, people were moving, but they were all sitting, which is what you do in a theater. You sit, you watch the show, you get entertained, and so my energy level, my passion level, I had to work double because I didn't know if they were enjoying themselves.
I can imagine that.
Because I'm used to people standing up, especially with music, with salsa music. People just dance. People want to dance. It's just what you do when you hear salsa. But it all worked out because even the people sitting said they wanted to dance.
Yeah.
But being in the
I couldn't even. I was like, I was itching, you know. Behave. We gotta social.
But then, this is the American Concert Hall. But there are other theaters where people obviously get up and dance. I've been to Lehman College. I've seen a few artists, salsa artists, and people get up and dance. Madison Square Garden is
Garden.
another place where people just get up and dance. But yeah, so so it was working double because I had to make sure I was feeding off the right energy from the public,
Oh my
and
God.
it was the right energy.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But there were some people that I don't think they know the rules, but they got up and they started dancing.
That's fine.
They were like in the background dancing.
That's fine.
And then your mom went on stage. Everybody was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my God!" It was so fun. The whole concert was good. The journey, I guess, and that's why we're here. Is getting there was hard.
The journey was hard. Yeah.
Yeah. And where were you born and raised?
I was born in Ponce, Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico.
Oh yes, yes.
And I was raised here in New York City. I was raised on the Upper West Side, and we first moved to New York, and our first apartment was a small little place on 101st and Central Park West.
Oh my God.
And this is my place. I moved out of here for a while, but came back, and it's always been here in Manhattan, the heart of New York City.
Oh my God. When you moved out here, it was a lot of horses, carriage rides.
Wait, what do you say? I'm old?
No, but it was a much fun time,
Yeah.
but also a difficult time.
Yeah.
We were born towards the 80s and everything here, raised in New York. And it was fun, but it was also dramatic times.
It was rough, but you know what? Our parents made sure that we didn't feel that edge, feel that roughness that was happening and surrounding us.
Right.
They made it very comfortable for us.
Mm.
And, it was a way of life. It was very comfortable for me. And I remember moving here with my mom and my dad, and life was good.
Yeah.
Life was good. Even times were tough, and there was very little money. We made the best of it. We had our white rice with fried egg,
Oh my God.
which was a staple in a lot of Hispanic homes when we
Mhm.
really didn't have much to go on.
Yeah. The little, cut the little hams,
Yeah.
fry the hams and
Yeah.
stuff. As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, I had the white rice with eggs. My
Yeah.
wife was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Just memory. I want to have a
You're
memory."
not alone. I did
You know what I'm
the same
saying?
about a month ago.
I know I got food, but I just wanted the
Yeah,
memory
yeah,
again.
yeah.
So I guess it was more like to appreciate what I had.
Right.
So
right,
I figured if I eat that, I appreciate it. But you came from the same area, and that
Yeah.
was kind of crazy,
Yeah.
especially out here.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
but everything's changed for the better.
Like,
Everything's changed for the better. Can't complain.
yeah. But how hard was it to, especially for your parents, to come from Ponce to be here with family?
You know what? It wasn't as hard of a transition because we had family here already.
Mhm.
We had family living nearby. We had a lot of family, so the transition was pretty easy. And they adapted. They adapted. My mom, my dad, they got jobs. They raised us. We were put in Catholic school.
Mm.
We were raised in Catholic school all my life until I reached the 10th grade. Then I went over to public school, which was a shocker in itself. Yeah.
So when you went from ruler hitting hands to a public
To the students hitting
students hitting your hands.
Yeah.
That's a big change. And you guys don't understand, it's a thing from New York. We used to say with nuns used to hit your hand when you do bad things. So that was a big change.
That was a big change.
Wow.
That was a big change. Only because once I graduated grammar school, I went into 9th grade, Catholic all-boys school, Xavier, I remember.
Mm.
And it was part of growing pains and discovering who I was, and I wasn't happy. And so I went into another all-boys Catholic school for 10th grade, but then I guess that's when music started building up in me, and then I wanted to go into School of Performing Arts.
Mm.
So then I went to the school, and they said that I couldn't get in only because I had to have started from the 9th grade. So that was a bummer for me. But going into 11th grade, I went to Louis D. Brandeis Public School, and I remember Brenda K. Starr used to sit right in front of me,
Oh wow.
and she was always absent. And then when she did show up, she would say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was in an audition. I was filming a movie." Blah blah blah. Look, it worked out for her, you know. But in public school is when I started writing music. I was a loner. I was pretty much a loner. I didn't want to, especially because it was such a drastic change, going from Catholic to public, and there was a lot of things that I was not used to. So I kept to myself. And I always found myself in the cafeteria by myself, writing music, writing, and avoiding everything that was going on behind me, which included fights, arguments. You know, it was a crazy time. And I continued then. I survived it until I graduated from high school, and went off to Hunter College to pursue a degree in music. And I did it.
Wow. I don't know, it's probably kind of hard to be in the high school because, these kids.
Yeah, it was rough.
It was rough to do.
It was rough.
You know, we had to run home. Because I'm similar. I was basically a loner from school straight to karate class, straight home, did my homework.
Yeah.
Then I worked with these Koreans, so I was able to get away from all that.
Right.
But it's kind of hard,
Right.
especially for Latin.
Right.
You know, to be in here when pretty much it was like Harlem.
Right.
You know, until it became Spanish Harlem.
Right.
So it was hard. Hats off because for you to do all that and come out.
Yeah. It was difficult. But you know, once I started getting into college, then things started looking up. You know, and that's when music started taking off, and I started experimenting more. I started recording music. I entered into a program called the Puerto Rican Traveling Theater in the 90s. The theater was owned by Miriam Colon. And that also helped mold who I am today. It was an amazing journey, that in itself. I remember I took acting, singing, and dancing. It was a 3-year program, and there was a lot going on, and I remember I was always going on casting calls, and I was being called to do extra work, a lot of extra work. And one of the extra work I always remember was Al Pacino's movie. Oh God, what is that called? Carlitos Way.
Carlitos Way? Oh.
Carlitos Way.
It's one of his favorite New York movies.
Yeah. I remember I was in that movie. They dressed me up. They put a suede vest with the fringe, and they put us some bell bottoms with some platform boots, and my hair was already big. So they said, keep your afro. It was perfect. So they put this bandana. And so every time they said action, we would walk right. It was on 116th Street, right underneath the train, and Al Pacino would walk past me, and I would walk behind him. And in one scene, I almost bumped him in his shoulder, and they said, cut!
Oh my God.
And I don't know.
Like, you only got one line, buddy. Let's go.
I didn't even have no line.
No line. It was just a walk scene.
And so it was a fun experience, but after the final cut, they edited me out.
Oh, man. Hey, but at least you had the opportunity to be in there, you know. Yeah. I don't know. To do something like that is amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I did a lot of extra work. And a lot of work, but you're on your feet for 10 hours for like an $80 check. But you know, at that time, it was an experience. It was what I wanted to do. And then, but then after that, I continued, and then after that, I started doing voiceovers.
Oh wow!
Which was another.
Any cartoons or just
no? It was a children's book.
Oh, whoa.
Children's book, and in Spanish.
Oof.
And there was some good money in there. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the agency closed.
You ever thought like, this thing ain't for me, you know? Like,
what's that, music?
Anything, like when you were doing this and then all of a sudden they closed down, or you were doing like, did they ever give you the setback? Like you're like,
no, I never really thought about. I never thought about it. You know, it existed when it existed. It closed. The only thing I do say that is for me is music, because there were many times I I wanted to give up,
Right.
and I have given up. I've gone 2, 3, 4 years dry spell without doing anything in music, but then something about it always called me back.
Mm-hmm.
Something about it, and I always question, why am I being called to music? You know, why was I chosen? Because I don't think I chose it. You know, something about music chose me. And my mom always said that before I started talking, I started singing. So it chose me. Now, what it did with me, it took me very far, maybe not to a level that I thought I would be when I was in my 20s,
Right.
you know, because we have all these ideas,
Yes.
this dream that, you know, I'm singing somewhere, I'm going to be discovered, it's going to happen this way. No. Each person has their own journey and experiences, and this is my journey. It's happening to me the way it's supposed to happen, you know. But with that said, I'm not sitting back and hoping that things happen or that somebody takes me by the hand. I've always been on top of my game.
Yeah.
Always.
It's just amazing though, from the journey that you take,
Yeah.
and then when you look back, you're like, wow,
Yeah.
did I do this? Did I do that?
Yeah, I've done so much.
What would happen? There's some things that you'd be like, oh, I should have done this different. You
Yeah.
ever thought about that?
Always. Always.
Yeah.
But you know what? It is what it is. Yeah, I wouldn't change a lot of things. Again, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I wish I was a little more developed at a younger age, but I think, again, I'm a late bloomer, and everything for me happened later in life. And in my development, musically and my vocal development, I think started taking form when I joined the gospel choir back in the 90s, which I lasted with them for about 10 years. And I think being in that gospel choir, which was a group of maybe 40 people, 40 plus people, the music director, he was an angel on earth. He is an angel on earth because he was also my vocal teacher. And he took me under his wing and gave me private lessons and knew I had potential. He knew I had potential because at one point we were all singing, and then I was singing something, and then I forgot that I was in the crowd, and so I started doing things with my voice. And he looked at me and says, "You shouldn't have done that because now you're mine.
Oh, wow.
Now I'm going to make you a soloist." And he made me a soloist in the concerts,
Oh, wow.
which is huge.
To
because-
come from like 40 people, that's incredible.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
get picked out.
Yeah, exactly. And
Wow.
so that was incredible. And so he developed me. He pushed me because I was very shy. I was very shy, and you know, during the training, I would come across my songs I would sing very whispery, very timidly. And one day he just got upset and he says, "Javier, wake up. Wake up. You have something in you. You've got to do it. You've got to sing out." And so I always thank him for the singer that I am today, because a lot of people say that I've got the voice. People say I've got a big voice. And
Well, you do fill the room.
yeah,
When you
well,
sing, it's...
thanks. I mean, there was
Yeah.
one time at the Puerto Rican Traveling Theater when I remember I sang my first Spanish song. God, I don't remember the name of the song right now, but there was no microphone. It was just me and the piano. And if you've ever been to the Puerto Rican Traveling Theater, it's an intimate theater, but I had no mic. And so I sang Solamente una vez. Solamente una vez or Historia de un amor. I think it was Solamente una vez. And then I just filled up the whole audience
Oh, my
with
God.
that. And, you know, the feedback that I got is like, "Damn, Javi, we could hear you from the back." So that was fun.
Without the mic, it's good.
And in Spanish. My first Spanish song.
It's funny because you're Latin,
Yeah.
but you were singing English like for so
For a long time, yeah.
and then you just wind up singing Latin, and that's
Yeah.
where it took off.
Right. I always sung in English English. I wrote in English, and my mother always wanted me to sing something in Spanish. She always encouraged me and pushed me, and I never wanted to bother with it. I don't know why. And then I always tell the story that she always talked to me about this one Javier song called Hasta que te conocí. And I didn't want it. I paid her no mind. And then what happens? Mark Anthony comes out with that song. I knew Mark Anthony because people knew him from the freestyle era. But then he just blew up with that song. And so even after that, I didn't want anything. I wanted nothing to do with Spanish. And then one day she wrote this poem and presented it to me. And she said, "Can you read this and see if you can do something with it?" So I read it. I didn't understand it too much. I spoke well Spanish, but English was my first language. And so she explained it to me. And so what I did was I broke it down into sections, and I created the lead vocals, including the backup vocals. And that song was my first full orchestrated song, salsa song, titled Alma Chapa de la Antigua, and that's the young Javier right here.
That's the young guy right there.
Song.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was fun, and it was an experience. And there was a rush about singing salsa, and something about singing in Spanish is so different from singing in English. I think it's just, I can't explain it, but for me, there's more power in the Spanish language.
You ever thought about singing something like besides salsa?
Yes.
Or, yeah.
Yes. I've thought about possibly recording a full ballad album in Spanish. I thought about recording an English album, going back to singing English. But with that said, I'm not just going to jump the gun.
Go on and do it.
To find a good producer who's going to be up with the times, and especially with the English album. And because there's a lot of competition out here, you know. And the good thing about English today is that I don't think everybody sounds like others. People have their own styles. You know, I'm a fan of Bruno Mars, and that guy is incredible. I love his arrangements. I love his He's got an eclectic album, eclectic sound. And,
yeah, he's one that I think he can do many different genres if he wants.
Right. So yeah, that's brewing. That's brewing.
That'd be incredible to listen to you singing an English song, or a soft ballad English or something like that.
Yeah, it's all possible. I just have to find the right producer.
Yeah. I can imagine like a jazz type.
Jazz?
You know, like
I don't know.
I can see. I don't know. For some reason, I can see you sitting there, singing. You know, not a jazz, but like the old R&B type. You know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I can see that. I mean, I had my cousin once write me a R&B song. Never recorded it, but I could always go back to that. You know?
Okay. We're gonna be right back with a little bit more with Javier behind the mic. I'm gonna dig a little bit deep. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Ty Roberson, and I'm a friend of Javier. I already see it. I'm like, this dude is a superstar. When he was at SOBs and I saw that, after I said, listen, brother, it's like you're going to be in stadiums. You're going to pack out stadiums, arenas. It's going to happen. So people, all you got to do is just get your ticket, get in line, and wait for Javier Luis. Peace.
Se han creado los hombres en la faz de la tierra. Por amor hay quien haya querido regalarle una estrella. Por amor fue una vez al Calvario con una cruz a cuesta. Aquel que Por amor se confunden las aguas y en las fuentes se besan. Y en las alas de las mariposas los colores se crean. Por amor ha existido en el mundo siempre tanta belleza. Y el color de la naturaleza se pintó por amor. Por amor soy de ti y seré toda la vida mientras viva. Por amor soy de ti, por amor, por amor, por amor. Por amor, una noche cualquiera, un amante se entrega. Por amor, con un beso se calman unos labios que esperan. Por amor, ya no llevo las cruces que me dio el sufrimiento. Por ti, lo que fuera mi suerte se cambió por amor. Por amor, soy de ti y seré toda la vida mientras viva. Por amor, soy de ti, por amor, por amor, por amor. Por amor, por amor, por amor, por amor, por amor. Se han creado los hombres en la faz de la tierra. Tantas cosas lindas se han hecho por amor. Se pintó el color de la naturaleza. Sí, hay todo se ha hecho por amor. Por amor, por amor.
Todo ha sido por amor,
Ay, si entregaste el corazón
todo ha sido por amor,
por el amor a alguien, amor al aire, amor que arde.
todo ha sido por amor,
Amor que muchas veces se vuelve dolor.
todo ha sido por amor,
Un lindo sentimiento, esa ha sido la razón.
todo ha sido por amor,
Por amor, por amor, por amor, por amor, por
Welcome back to Behind the Mic with Javier Lewis, and we've been talking about a lot of things. So if you guys just tuned in, enjoy the rest of the show. We're going to be talking, and we're going to be talking to your parents, your mom,
Well, you could try. I don't think she's ready to be.
You try? But, you know, speaking of mom, how was it really know it with a Latin mother that, because Latin moms are tough.
Yeah.
And they see you slacking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Was she like forcefully pushing?
She was tough. She was being a mom.
Mm.
Yeah. But she did it because she wanted to make sure that we had a good life.
Mm.
She wanted to make sure we were protected and that we were on the right path. Because we know other parents who has children that have gone the wrong path, and she just wanted to make sure that everything was okay with me and my brother. And she did good.
Man.
She did good.
So it was just you and your brother?
Me and my brother.
So, wow, to be raising two boys.
Yeah, she didn't spare the switch either.
The chancleta came out, right? I'll tell you, there's, especially here, I think everybody knows the chancleta stories,
Yeah.
So, which is, I think, kept, everyone in a line, like in a good line as well, so which is good, but tributing to that, if you think if she wasn't there, would you have?
I don't know what would have been of me if she wasn't there. Never even thought of it.
Mm.
My mom and my dad, they actually separated when I was 14. So she's always been there. That's all I know.
Right.
That's all I know. What would have been of me if she wasn't there? I don't know.
That would have been hard.
Yeah.
But when your mom and dad separated, did that impact your music career?
Not at all.
Did you say, you know what?
Not at all. It was a weird experience because a lot of children suffer their parents' separation, but when my mom decided to leave, I helped her pack. I
Really?
wanted out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I wanted to go. I didn't want
To be
to stay in another day in the apartment when my father got home.
Okay.
So it was liberating to
Right.
finally be free.
It happens. It's when kids know, kids
Yeah,
they
yeah,
don't
and I
feel
was
good.
14 when that
Yeah.
happened, and I was just very excited to move on, and me, my mom, and my brother, and we made our lives, together, and we moved on. We moved to the Bronx for a little bit,
Right.
yeah, and that only lasted a few months,
Right.
and then came back to Manhattan. But life was good. Life is good.
It's hard because I was just discussing the other day how when someone said, "Oh, my father was not in my life; he ruined my life," and I'm like, "But if he wasn't in your life, how did he ruin your life?
Yeah.
If he was never in it,
Yeah. Even when he was here, he wasn't in my life.
Yeah.
He was a figure that he did things here and there that were okay, but never a father
Impact.
figure. He was
Right.
never a father figure. And you know what? It's okay.
Mm.
It's okay. My mom is both my dad and my mom.
You survived.
Yeah.
You survived. It was great. Like I said, my dad, I thought he was my dad, wound up to be my stepdad. But since he raised me since I was a kid,
Right.
and he got me going in the army here and there, so it was an impact where, things do happen and then it changes in your life.
Right.
So that's why I was wondering, did it change your
It
life?
didn't change anything. It did change it for the better.
Right.
Again, it liberated me. It liberated us.
To do what you had to do.
Yeah, to move on and not live in that fear.
Right.
So it did change us for the better.
Oh, no, that's good. Especially, like I said, in New York.
Yeah.
When we were in the good days,
Yeah.
it was hard, but
those were the simpler days. Those were the fun days.
I loved it. I don't know. I
Yeah.
loved the bandit buildings, running around, and having fun, being a kid.
Yeah, being a kid.
Getting scraped. Now all of a sudden, don't go outside without the knee
Yeah.
pads. What?
Yeah,
Like
the
what? Helmets?
Oh,
What was that? I don't know. Like concussions. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I
Shake it
got
off.
some, Yeah. Bruises, cuts, everything.
Yeah, but nowadays it's like you can't get a bruise, can't get a cut. I'm like,
Yeah.
nah. That's why I would never change. I don't think I would change anything. Especially like you said, like if I do change something, it's going to impact my future anyway. So
Right.
I wouldn't change it.
Right.
And I loved it. People were like, how can you be running in the streets and having fun? And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I would like the other day I was like, oh, let's go play a game outside. It was like, why? We have one in the computer or something. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
We're going outside. Let's play
Yeah.
Skelsies or stickball or something, you know?
Those are the good old days. I mean, I even had my little moment, a few years of clubbing. I was a club kid.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And this was after my parents separated, in my college days. And I would go clubbing. I was in college and go clubbing 4 or 5 days a week.
Oh, wow.
4 or 5 days a week. Come home. The club closed at 4. I was always there for the closing. And be home by 5 or 6 o'clock. And Mom would stay up waiting for me. And this went on for a few years. And I always remember dancing. I said, I want to dance for the rest of my life. But when you get to a certain point, it says, I don't want to hear about a club again.
It's like, whoa, dancing? I'm tired. It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
Because I think, like you said, college, it was an experiment. You want to do something. It's kind of hard to do what you really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then it pushes you to do something else.
Right.
And I'm glad that you accepted your calling,
Yeah.
to listen and play music.
Yeah.
Without that, then where we would have been.
Where would it be?
I would have not been with that Por Amor or nothing like that. Nothing. We wouldn't have from here all the way up to now, you know. But some of these photos, it's like you look at them, you got the Por Amor on the top and stuff like that. You got your Puerto Rican
This
travel.
is my Puerto Rican Traveling Theater certificate, 1998, July 2nd. And this one, she was my attorney. This is Mongo Santa Maria. And this was in Miami, Florida at the Billboard Awards, Latin Billboard Awards. I still have my Latin Billboard Award pass there. That was an incredible feeling. I remember I got to see Celia Cruz alive.
Yeah.
And she actually accepted a Grammy. No, I'm sorry, the Billboard Award. And
she's amazing.
she was amazing.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
I met her the year before she passed, and I was like, wow. Like, this is crazy.
I got to see her last concert.
Yeah? Oh, I didn't get to go.
Yeah. So there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of history, a lot of certificates for music recognition, photo shoots. This was at Club SOBs. This actually was...
I was going to say that. I remember that one.
This was...
It was during the summer.
My second concert, I don't remember, at SOBs. But it turned into... we were paying homage to Harry Adorno, my music director, who I've been with for 10 plus years. And he was supposed to play that night with me.
Yeah.
But he died, I believe it was the week of Thanksgiving.
Right.
Yeah. And our show, if I'm correct, it was either December 4th or December 5th. And it turned out great, but we paid homage to Harry in that show. And it was a great performance. And actually, I have a picture of Harry right behind you. Right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that day I met his wife and everything.
Jada,
Yeah, I still say hello to her on Facebook.
Yeah. He was amazing. He did great things with my music. He put a lot of importance into that. And also, this was in SOBs. This was at Dawn Hill, a club down somewhere in Soho. It was fun. That was right before my performance. And this right here, I don't know if you get to see this picture in the camera, but that's my vocal teacher from the gospel choir.
Oh, wow.
He's the one that molded me and made me who I am today. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And this one is a picture of me, my cousin Marlene, and Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin.
Yeah, this was in Florida. It was in the recording studio. And he was in a session, we were in a session, and during our breaks, we were outside and we got to meet each other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was fun. So yeah, there's a lot of history here.
Well, when we get back, we're going to talk a little to the parents and to the friends. We're going to get to let them know a little bit about what's going on. But I want to talk to Javier when we come back about his future, see where he's going to go next. Hey, you've been watching the LDM show? Let us know what you think about this episode. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. We value your opinion, so please let us know. And let's get right back to the show. Hey, welcome back to Behind the Mic with Javier Lewis. So Javier, you talked about the past, in the middle. Let's talk a little bit about the future. Like,
Yeah.
What's up with Javier in
Javier.
the 3000s?
Right
you know,
now,
the future.
The future.
What can we expect?
Expect a album of ballads.
Mm.
Expect an album of just English music, English songs. But also expect more salsa.
Mm.
You know, I love salsa.
Are you going to keep it traditional with the instruments, or are you going to do a little mix?
What's that? Salsa music
Yeah.
or?
Well, the salsa music.
Yeah,
Because I know some people doing salsa music, but they're doing it with like computer. And,
No,
yeah.
I don't like computerized or synthesized music.
Right.
You know, it's good to throw a little bit of that computerized, just to embellish the salsa a little bit.
Right.
But I keep it traditional. Everything's got to be live.
Oh, I love the traditional, the
Yeah, it's
horns
gotta be
and
live, yeah. Yeah, and all my music takes two trumpets and two trombones.
Mm.
Of course, we have the piano, bass, and the three percussionists and background singers. So yeah, I got to keep it traditional. I got to keep it live, no computerized. And you know, I'm not even a fan of auto tune either.
Right.
When I'm recording, I try to hit every note, and if it doesn't work, then we keep going over and
Oh,
over
no.
and over and clean it up a little bit. But auto tune, I recorded once with this one person who, it was an English techno song,
Mm.
and he just auto tuned my entire voice, and I sounded like Cher. I was like,
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
want that. I don't want that. It's like, why are you such a fanatic of auto tune? It is what it is.
But I think that messes up a lot because, like I said, when I've seen your concert, it was great because the voice was,
Right,
you know,
right.
and there's some people that can't sing live.
Right.
Like, stay in the studio because,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
I loved
yeah.
you more when I was listening to your records than I'm watching you in the concert.
Yeah.
But that's why I like you because
Thank
you keep
you.
it traditional and
Thank
it's
you.
a better, I think to me it's better
Yeah.
when someone keeps it traditional with
Traditional,
the
right.
instruments.
Yeah.
And then your trumpet players were
They were amazing.
amazing. I was
Yeah,
like,
one was one of the trumpeters, Ozzy Cardona. He's been with me for a while. I've been with him. We've been working together for a few years,
yeah.
and so it's all great. And as far as the future, we'll just have to wait and see. But like I said, passion keeps me going, you know, and something's gonna come of it, and it's gonna be big. Right now, we're actually going to have a benefit concert at BB King's on November 21st for Puerto Rico and the islands that were struck by Hurricane Maria. And this is a benefit concert that is planned and put together by my friend, a good friend who used to sing in the choir with me back in the days. Now she's a blues singer, and she is incredible. And she invited me. for
BB
this.
King's is like, I went one time for a jazz and I was like, oh my God.
BB King's is amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
For some reason, that place just makes the people
Yeah.
sing even 10 times
Yeah.
better than they were.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe
Yeah.
the name. Or,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because BB King is.
BB King is you get in there, then you know you got something going for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm looking forward to that. And but stay tuned for more Javier Luis because you're not gonna hear the last of me.
Oh, no.
Definitely not.
Hey, this is Behind the Mic. This is Javier Lewis. You guys got to follow and just keep supporting independent artists such as Javier. And if you're watching the video, hit him up. Tell him how much you loved the video, how much you loved his songs and stuff like that. And all independent artists, I think they love to hear, you know, opinions from their fans
Yeah.
and stuff. So
Yeah.
just keep it going. So, got any last words?
Just keep following me. I won't disappoint you. I'm coming out with some new stuff. And come out to my shows because I promise you're gonna have a good time. Because one thing that I do is I give the best of me. I give all of me to my audience.
Yes. And again, thank you for letting the fans into your home.
Thank you
as
for
well.
coming into my home.
Yes, but
And as you can see,
See.
we have food for everybody. Nice cheese platter.
oh yes, but we got to go because we got to eat. So thank you for watching again from Behind the Mic. Who will be next? Stay tuned and find out.
Me llevaré conmigo la vieja madrugada y enhebrando vivencias la canción trasnochada de una noche de ronda de amigos y guitarras, para que me acompañe donde quiera que vaya. Me llevaré conmigo la otra imagen de Pedro, la del indio dormido debajo del sombrero. Esa va en la maleta en algún cenicero. La que va en mi conciencia lleva a Pedro despierto. Me llevaré conmigo los zapatos gastados en todos los caminos por los que he caminado, por los muchos amigos volvería descalzo, a pesar de las piedras si fuera necesario. Me llevaré conmigo la presencia de tantos a los que no he podido estrecharles la mano. La próxima nos vemos y cualquier escenario será el sitio adecuado para darles mi canto. Me llevaré conmigo de las cosas más bellas un zarape tejido con tejido de estrellas y un sombrero de luna del cielo de esta tierra, para que me cobije en el frío de la ausencia. Me llevaré conmigo, Gustavo, ¿qué te pasa? Si el tiempo es un instante y un instante es mañana. Mañana nos veremos, mañana es cualquier día. Tiene leña la llama y seguirá encendida. Me llevaré conmigo la emoción florecida de saber que sonaron por mí las golondrinas. Esta canción que acaso no es canción sino alma que se entrega al hermano cuando extiende sus alas. Y me iré lentamente, con el último aplauso, el último vuelve y con el último abrazo. Yo sí sé que nos volveremos a ver cuando el tiempo diga que dejo aquí lo que tengo.